It was supposed to be the best night of the year, my birthday. The room was filled with people I thought cared about me. The lights were bright, the music was perfect, and everything seemed set for a celebration. But then, right in front of everyone, she turned the spotlight on me in the worst way possible. Her words cut deeper than any knife. She laughed, mocked, and made me look small when all eyes were on us. People chuckled nervously, unsure if it was a joke or if she truly meant it. I stood there frozen, my smile fading, my chest tightening. Inside, I was burning with anger, but outside, I stayed silent. It wasn't the first time she had belittled me, but this was different. This was my night, my moment, and she chose it to drag me down. I kept asking myself, why would she do this? Everyone saw it. Everyone felt the tension. That was the exact second when something inside me shifted. I realized I had two choices: stay and accept the disrespect, or walk away and change everything forever. Before that night, our story looked different. People on the outside thought we were the perfect pair. I worked long hours on Wall Street, building my career, making the kind of money most only dream about. She loved the lifestyle that came with it. The trips, the restaurants, the gifts. I thought giving her everything would make her happy. I believed loyalty was enough. But slowly, the cracks started to show. She became less grateful, more demanding. I noticed how her tone shifted in private, sharper, colder, like nothing I did was ever enough. Still, I kept convincing myself it was stress, or maybe just a phase. I told myself that once I had more time, things would get better. Birthdays had always been important to me, a reminder that despite all the work, life should be celebrated. So I poured my energy into planning something special. I wanted that night to be about joy, about appreciation. I wanted her to stand by me, proud of the man she was with. But behind the smiles and the champagne, I didn't realize she had a very different plan. And what she chose to do that evening left me stunned. The party started out just the way I pictured it. Friends from work showed up, old college buddies were there. Even a few business partners I respected. Glasses clinked, music filled the room, and laughter rolled through the air. I stood there, soaking it all in, thinking maybe this year would be different. She stayed close to me at first, smiling and greeting people, playing the role she knew so well. Then, as the night went on, the attention shifted toward me. Someone raised a glass for a toast, and that's when she made her move. Instead of celebrating me, she turned it into a joke. She called me obsessed with money, said I was married to Wall Street, and even joked about how she was the one who deserved a medal for putting up with me. The room fell silent for a second before a few uneasy laughs broke out. My face burned as I stood there frozen. It wasn't playful. It wasn't lighthearted. She wanted to embarrass me, and she succeeded. In that moment, I felt the ground shift under me, like the party I had built was no longer mine, but hers to destroy. I kept standing there, pretending her words didn't sting, but every second felt heavier. My friend's eyes darted between us, unsure whether to laugh or stay quiet. I could hear the whispers start, soft at first, then louder, like the room was closing in on me. She didn't stop. She added one more jab, this time about how I thought I was untouchable because of my money. That was it. My chest tightened, and for the first time that night, I saw everything clearly. I wasn't angry at the crowd, or even embarrassed by the jokes. I was angry at myself for letting it get this far. I realized I had given her the power to tear me down, and she was enjoying every second of it. In that instant, I knew exactly what I had to do. I set down my glass, straightened my jacket, and without a single word, I walked away. No scene, no yelling, just silence. Her laughter echoed behind me as the room watched me leave. But what she didn't know was that by walking out, I had just taken the first step toward turning her world upside down. The moment I stepped outside, the cool night air hit me like a wave of freedom. I didn't look back, not once. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls, texts, messages from guests who didn't understand why I left. Some begged me to return. Others asked if I was okay. But I stayed silent. For the first time in years, I felt like I was in control. By the next morning, the story had already spread. People were talking, wondering why I walked out of my own party. She tried to twist the narrative, telling everyone I was too sensitive, that it was all a joke. But the truth had a way of slipping through. Friends who had seen the look on my face started distancing themselves from her. Business partners who were there began questioning her character. And then came the financial side. For years, she had lived off my success. Credit cards, vacations, luxury she flaunted. All of it tied to me. The moment I cut her off, the life she bragged about vanished. Bills piled up. Invitations stopped coming. And the same people who laughed at her jokes now turned their backs. The world she built on my name was crumbling fast. She didn't see it coming. One week she was shopping, dining, and showing off like nothing had changed, and the next she was drowning in overdue payments. Without my support, her lifestyle collapsed almost overnight. She called me again and again, leaving voicemails that swung between anger and desperation. First, she accused me of being cruel. Then she begged for another chance. I listened to every word, but never responded. I had already given too much of myself, and now it was time for her to face the reality she had mocked me for. The friends who once gathered around her started slipping away. No more dinner invitations, no more glamorous photos for social media. People quickly realized she had nothing without me. I heard stories of her showing up to places, only to be ignored by the very crowd that once laughed at my expense. Meanwhile, I focused on myself, pouring energy into my work and into the people who actually valued me. It was strange watching the shift, seeing the same laughter she used against me turn into whispers behind her back. Every day that passed, her downfall grew sharper, and all I had to do was stay silent. Weeks passed, and the silence between us became louder than any fight could have been. She tried showing up at my office once, dressed like nothing had happened, as if she could charm her way back into my life. Security turned her away before she even reached the lobby. That's when the reality truly sank in for her. She no longer had access to me, my world, or the doors that opened because of my name. I started hearing from mutual acquaintances about how she was selling her designer bags, pawning jewelry, and moving out of the fancy apartment she once flaunted. The same woman who mocked me in front of everyone now struggled just to stay afloat. And still, she didn't apologize. Instead, she blamed me for ruining her life, refusing to see that she had done it to herself. I didn't respond, not once. I didn't need to. My silence was more powerful than any argument. And while she was slipping deeper into the mess she created, I was climbing higher, stronger than before. Her downfall wasn't about revenge. It was the natural result of disrespecting the wrong person at the wrong time. I remember sitting in my office late one evening, looking out at the city lights, thinking about how quickly life can turn. Just weeks earlier, she had been the center of attention, laughing at me, confident she was untouchable. Now, she was nowhere to be seen. The silence from her end was almost shocking. No more calls, no more messages, just quiet. Word eventually reached me that she had moved back in with a relative, far away from the glittering lifestyle she once showed off. It was strange to think about how fast everything had shifted. I didn't gloat, and I didn't celebrate. I just accepted it as the consequence of choices she made. In the end, money wasn't what broke her. It was pride. She believed she could mock me, humiliate me, and still hold on to everything I provided. But respect matters more than any gift, any trip, or any luxury. Once that respect was gone, everything else followed. Watching it all unfold taught me something powerful. Sometimes the best revenge is not action, not anger, but simply walking away and letting life expose the truth. And in her case, the truth was brutal.